o'clock, I'm calling the meeting to order. Yes. Well, let's start closing the door. We'll pledge allegiance to the flag over there. Thank you. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
So,
Owen, if you could introduce yourself and
Sure.
some of the board members might not be familiar.
sure. Hi, I'm Owen Frank. I'm the interim director. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Put your mask down so we know what you really look like.
Okay. Don't sneeze, anybody. I'm Owen Frank, soon to be the interim director, and don't want to take up too much of our time tonight, but I just want to say I'm very excited to be working with all of you. And look forward to getting to know all of you better. And just one other thing, I get paid to do this. You're volunteering your time, all of you, and I appreciate that. And I say thank you for volunteering your time. You guarantee me a great level of services each week.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Ellen.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to see and review the minutes from last time? I did them, so if anyone notices anything that's wrong with it, please let me know.
So moved.
Okay, does anyone have any comments? Second, all right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. They're approved as distributed. All right, when do we want the gentleman from the insurance company to speak? I'm assuming we want to do it now so that you can
Right.
log off before it gets really boring. All right.
Would you like me to go now? That's no problem.
Yeah, if you could.
Good evening, everybody. Chris Petrillos with Perry and Carroll. I represent Chemung County Library District with the employee benefits, the medical under age 65 group, known as your actives, with Excel's Blue Cross Blue Shield. And you also have a policy for your retirees for those who are over age 65 and Medicare eligible and retired. Right now, what we're talking about is that group, the folks that are over age 65 and retired. They have a Medicare Advantage plan through Excel's Blue Cross Blue Shield. What we're looking at right now is something that has evolved in the last year or so. Broome County Purchasing Alliance out of Broome County asked for an RFP, I believe it was probably last June, for all municipalities, school districts in upstate New York for all the Medicare Advantage eligible people that they could possibly gather through school districts and municipalities. And basically they created this buying power of more members and then leverage against different carriers like Excel's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, MVP, and United Healthcare. And they said, hey, look, we have 4,500 members, you 4 carriers, you go give us your best price and your best plans, and we'll let you know who wins. When that took place last summer, the winner was United Healthcare. United Healthcare came out with 3 different plans, all of which the network essentially does not matter, meaning it's a passive PPO, and wherever original Medicare is accepted, you can go in the plan. So if you look at the benefit comparison at some point, if it's not in front of you, you'll see out of network and in network, 0 copays for all medical services across the board. So what you currently have right now with Excel's Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Medicare Advantage plan, you have copays for services, $15 to go see the office visit, urgent care, emergency room, $65, all of which, if and when you move to United Healthcare, would be $0 for the retiree out of pocket. Not only that, right now, the library district pays $408, I believe. It's not in front of me because I am traveling, but I believe it's in that range a month per retiree. That rate would go down to $227 in 2023. And that rate will go to $235, I believe, in 2024. So you have guaranteed cost for the district, guaranteed cost for the retiree for at least 2 more years. And then at the end of 2024, since you're essentially joining an alliance, the alliance will take care of the RFP process to bid out the product and also bid out the benefit. There's also additional shared service monies involved. Basically, whatever your first year savings is from moving from Excelis into this United Healthcare plan, New York State is going to give money to Chemung County through shared services agreements at 95% of your shared service savings. So whatever you save first year on this move, you're going to get 95% of that back and pass through monies through Chemung County. So essentially, it's a win-win-win. I put this in place in Chemung County last year. I moved the retirees from Chemung County on this plan. That includes City of Elmira, Schuyler County. Town of Horseheads just adopted to this. Town of Elmira just adopted to this. Town of Southport just adopted to this. Essentially, it's probably one of those things where it's the biggest no-brainer I've ever been involved with. And especially, I feel more comfortable with it now, living it 9 months since I've instituted this at Chemung County, City, and Schuyler. I have family members that are on this plan with Chemung County, and they call me all the time. Hey, Chris, why is it now I have a $0 bill? Well, all medical services, it's a $0 copay. Anything that's Part B related medical service, you're going to pay nothing for wherever you go. So essentially, I'll stop there. I know that was probably a lot for me on the phone. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
So what? Sorry. So next steps would be, and I sent Holly. There's a sample resolution, and basically all you would need to do is pass that resolution to join this alliance. Again, all the alliance is just getting the actual cost itself. You hold the contract between yourselves and United Healthcare. There's no, you have to go through anyone to get out or get into it. So all you would need to do is just pass that resolution, and then we'll adopt it for 1/1/23.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time tonight.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone have any thoughts on this?
Well, as you said, it is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Looks very good. I'm just wondering, what are the downsides?
We have that coverage as a retiree from Chemung County, and I was flabbergasted when, because we had a copay before, and now there's nothing, and I haven't seen any downsides to it.
Okay, so,
Over a year.
okay,
And that includes some hospitalizations and all that other stuff, and there was,
okay, well,
It looks like you can't go to it until the start of next year, so that's the time to get for our steps.
okay, well,
If you have questions.
I think the step is, do we pass the resolution tonight? And does anyone have any objections to adopting it tonight? While it's in front of us, we're thinking about it?
We actually have a resolution.
Yeah,
It's on
okay.
the last page here.
I move that we adopt the United Healthcare for Medicare Advantage and Prescription Drug Benefit Plan as for our retirees.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, resolution passes. 14, enjoy your retirement, Ron. Treasurer's report, Jack.
Any questions on the financial statement?
So the landscaping at the pavilion says it was paid for with the foundation funds, so they paid for the 13,000? Is that what that
We're
means?
looking at, yeah, that's the Horseheads Foundation.
Yeah,
So is that the bills or is that the financial statement?
That's bills.
Okay, so hold off on that until we get to the next thing.
okay.
Anything on the financial report?
Move it.
Okay, who wants to second it?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, now,
Unpaid bills, the, general fund, 26,647.91.
she just gave us different.
Yeah, that's 25, yeah, he's close. Yeah, the
I'm
25.
dyslexic.
Was she, so,
No questions, move it.
wait, no, she had some,
Hold on, there's,
there are a number of questions.
I think my question was answered. If I heard correctly, that the foundation pays for this.
So they give us the money and then we give them, then we pay it out. to-
Oh, okay.
Do you have an amount, just a rough ballpark of what's in the Horse Sense Foundation set aside money? It's a huge amount of money in there.
Huge, huge. You mean
It's not on the budget, I just don't have it in front of me.
Carl, I believe, I'm just estimating here, it's somewhere that at the end of 2021, I believe the check they gave the district was somewhere between $125,000 or $130,000. Or are you asking cumulatively?
When I was asking Holly. that's what I was asking,
yeah, I
because
don't
thought you had
know.
it.
It's
It's a lot, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands, yeah,
higher.
close to $1 million, yeah. And that's where that money's coming out of.
Yeah,
It probably is over.
no, I think it is. I think it is by now. There's a
Okay.
question in the
It looks like,
back.
Carl, according to the financial report, well. No, I don't know offhand.
That's fine.
I would say I think it would be fair to say that cumulatively, it's over $1 million since the start of the district. There's a question in the back.
Just wondering, what are they doing for $15,000? That's a lot of landscape.
It is a lot of landscape. What they did is, and it's actually completed, they behind, I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Horseheads Library, but on the east side of Eleanor Street, the library district owns quite a bit of land to an old railroad bed. And so they cleared about 40 feet of brush back and they installed a fence, a chain link fence in an L shape. Then they prepped the ground and they put grass seed and hay on there. And I've been between myself and Lou Murray, we've been watering that every day and it's growing quite nicely. And they also built a sidewalk, constructed a approximately 70-foot sidewalk, 4 feet wide, from Eleanor Street to the pavilion in the back. So just as a heads up, the water bill from the Horseheads Library is going to be higher because, this isn't the best year to grow grass, but it is growing with the little rain we've had, plus with our persistence with the watering. One of the foundation members lent us his sprinklers. And then we bought some long hose, so we're able to water that every day, an hour a day, and it's going very well.
I had not seen it before anything was done with it. I saw it when it was finished.
Oh, stop by.
It is good and it was being used that day, so.
Yeah, it is magnificent and you can visualize the grass. Like I said, the grass is growing fairly well, all things considered, but it's just magnificent. And for me, the best part is it was conceived by a Boy Scout, and it was his Eagle Scout project, and it was it's icing on the cake.
I remember what it looked like back there. That was a lot to clear.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
definitely is 13,000 is a deal, I think.
yeah, it was,
What they did.
and
was a
how
lot.
fast they did
Yeah,
that. They
it
had
was
that done they had the clearing done in probably about a day. It's
Wow.
just amazing.
In this environmental age, wouldn't it have been smarter to put in something besides grass?
Probably, but we didn't explore that. We didn't explore that at all. That is a great idea, and I wish we'd have considered that, but we did not.
we did not.
Well, there's nothing to say that you can't get a few pounds of clover seed and scatter them across the grass to interfill, so.
Yeah, because it's not gonna be perfect even with our efforts on that, but you're right, clover would be a great addition because anecdotally, I've seen deer and I've seen deer tracks in the snow in that area, so, and they love clover. But it is something to consider in the future.
All right, does anyone have any additional questions or comments about the bills? Yes, Lee?
The microfiche scanner that was purchased, was that a new purchase or a replacement?
It's a replacement for the existing one that they have.
Replacement for the existing.
What is the plan for the existing one?
Do what we normally do, try to offload it somewhere.
Okay, well, if and when you get around to offloading it, I know a historical society that would love to have it.
That sounds like a great idea. Since
What kind
you've
of
loaned
scanning, how do they do here? Is it for the library or is it for other organizations that want things scanned or?
I think, well, they have, they have a lot of documentation on the microfiche, like that's, there's a lot of old,
Yeah.
ages and ages of, so I think that's primarily.
Oh, okay.
They'll do
Yeah.
city directories, they'll do yearbooks. People will come in and want stuff of their own still.
Yeah, and basically, if you're doing genealogy research on like whatever, and going through old newspapers, then just taking a scan of it is easy, and you can look at it at your home computer and post it online, and it's great. I've definitely used it like that.
I used it for preparation for a talk I gave on the history of the Horseheads Free Library, and I scanned all kinds of articles announcing the opening of the current building back in 1967. Really, really helpful. Made the PowerPoint presentation pop. Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, Jack already moved, can I get a second? Thank you, Bonnie. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. The bills are approved as distributed. All right, that's treasurer's report down. Correspondence.
I have none.
Okay, president's report. That's me. So I'd like to formally welcome Owen to his first meeting as interim president, and thank you for taking over.
My pleasure.
I don't really have anything specific to report to the board. Moving on, director's report.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and a little frightened of taking over as the interim director for the library district. And as I said before, I very much look forward to working with all of you. As far as the report, I was going to talk a little bit about the pavilion, but I think I covered everything in the questions about the pavilion before. But I just want to remind you, if you haven't already received your invitation, there's a dedication for a formal dedication of the pavilion and to honor Manny Prizziato, as well as Andrew Whitmarsh, the Boy Scout who's receiving his Eagle Scout badge in late July, or September, I'm sorry. Yes,
Do you know who in, the family's gonna be there?
the Whitmarsh family?
No,
I don't. I
I'm
would,
assuming his wife will be there.
yes, and some of the kids and perhaps some of the extended family. I know Maureen Farrell from the foundation was handling the invitations, and she'll be mailing out the, Holly, did Maureen drop off the invitations? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, I'm sorry to repeat information you already had. That's about, I do have a couple of requests. I don't know if this is in the right order, but some staff, a couple of staff members here at Steel had a couple of requests. Deb Bremer from the IT department wanted to know if she's approved to buy the video games that they were going to install.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to
All in
Do-
favor of letting Deb buy the video games that she had sent it on the distributed list? I move,
Aye.
wait, who's
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, Jessica said it first.
Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Okay, thank you.
Meeting to please.
50-yard line tickets for the Ohio State, Michigan would be great. And the second request came from the Adult Services Department here at Steel. They were wondering if this group would be willing to consider returning to rotating the location of this meeting so it would free up this room for programs for the public.
I have been thinking about that myself.
I mean, I think,
It might be premature to make a decision tonight, but
I mean, I personally would like to go back to doing that in 2023. It was mostly just a
Sure.
COVID issue.
Yep.
And this has the best zooming, but if we're just saying no more zooming, then.
right, well,
Yeah.
attendees through Zoom aren't allowed to vote on any motions anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And no one showed up by Zoom today anyway, so.
I hope I gave them the right meeting.
We got a full room, so that's.
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
sign.
Well, where it would be a challenging technologically with, as far as internet connection would be when you meet in Van Etten. And they're did you ever meet in their new location?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it would have
Right, it
been,
was right opening.
right, yep, and it was just before the pandemic when they moved there.
Yeah, but I
But
think,
they're-
I think 2023, we can bring it back, provided, we're not all in the midst of a further global pandemic that's somehow
Or a new
worse.
pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, monkeypox could get real bad.
Polio, I mean, there's lots of options.
Yeah. Vaccinate your kids. Anyway,
So would it be accurate for me to inform the Adult Services Department and the Youth Services Department here at Steel that
2022. or
2023, we would,
Yeah.
the board will commence with rotating meeting locations throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get that figured out
Yeah,
before the start of the year so that we can publish that.
Generally speaking, we usually do Van Etten sometime in the summer
Right.
because getting
Yeah.
there in the winter is a nightmare.
okay, okay,
Yeah, you just pull one of the old schedules, that'll kind of give you the order.
sure, okay, yeah, that sounds great.
I think Wesley Myers twice, and Horses was twice, and Big Flats is once, and Van Etten is once.
Okay, yeah, and I believe the way the website, the schedule on the website right now still shows that rotation even for this year. I could be wrong on that. I think you're,
Whoops.
say again, Ron?
It does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at this
Didn't
time,
we do it at STLS once?
We have, yeah.
oh,
But
wow.
I know they're under renovation right
They
now, so
are.
we're not doing that right now. But
It'd be neat to check out the space. I haven't been out there in years since we can do everything remotely now.
okay.
Can't really think of anything else right now.
All right, well, I move that we approve the personnel
wait a minute, there's a-
actions.
Wait, you're moving to the personnel action, that was the only other thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So go ahead.
I move we approve the personnel actions as distributed. Who's seconding? I'll second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, personnel actions approved as distributed. All right, executive committee. Has everyone had a chance to see the minutes? We approved the bills, we hired Owen. Yeah, so the annual teen Halloween dance is gonna be October 28th. Do we know what's going on with the children's department for Halloween?
We don't yet, no.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the executive committee meeting? Okay, cool. The Budget and Finance Committee meeting.
Very short meeting, everything was discussed, was done here already.
Okay, we didn't have a Buildings and Grounds meeting. Is there anything that we need to update?
I think we've covered it with the pavilion, right?
And what about the, at Big Flats, didn't you have an air conditioning unit?
There's an
there?
air conditioning unit at Big Flat that needs replacing. I think Gary wants to replace all 3 units. I don't have a cost yet, or Owen will hopefully be getting the cost. However, I want to point out there's $35,000 in capital reserve funds for Big Flats, so it should not be an issue. Second thing, do you want to do the bricks?
Yeah, I don't remember the vendor's name. I didn't
Elmira
bring it.
Structures.
Elmira Structures, they can't match the brick. They can't match
This is
the
here
same,
where the car
yeah, where
ran
the
into
car
it.
ran into it. They won't be able to match the brick colors exactly. Yeah,
Can someone paint it?
I don't know. I don't know much about
Also, does it
bricks.
matter if it doesn't match? Will it just be like a war wound, but like?
Yeah,
less likely
it'll look
to-
like
It'll be
a,
a nice scar.
it'll
How much
scar.
Is it? I mean, it was only.
I'd have to look at
That's
the,
what I
yeah,
There's not very many.
so it's not very many.
So like
It's
something
not like
that's,
it's gonna be a big
something that's
patch.
close enough for state work, I think you can live with.
I believe so, but don't quote me on that yet. It just didn't, Ron and I have spent several hours preparing for the transition, and he showed me the estimate and the cost. 44 and some change, Ron?
For what?
The
makerspace?
bricks.
That's the makerspace.
Oh, that's the makerspace. Never mind. That was something completely different. It wasn't terribly
It's
expensive.
2,900?
Yeah, yeah. And the
It's
install,
2,900.
yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. And, yeah, but they won't match. They won't match the rest of them. I think in this day and age with supply issues and
Someone smear
delays.
a little mud there.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
As long
Put the
as they're not like
CC,
hot pink bricks, I think we'll be okay.
I'm sure they'll do their best effort to, Ron, you're
No,
talking-
go ahead.
oh, I'm sure they'll make their best effort to match it as closely as they can, but it'll be obvious that they're replacement bricks. And then,
Makerspace?
oh, the makerspace, there were events, we've got a quote. We still need to get in touch with Bob Butcher to manage the project for vents in the makerspace. It was 44,000
44,000.
and some change. I plan to bring that information at the Buildings and Grounds Committee. You guys are scheduled to meet, first
Second
Wednesday?
Wednesday,
Is
first
it-
Wednesday.
First Wednesday.
First Wednesday. So I plan to have that prepared and ready to present at the Buildings and Grounds meeting.
And there's a couple $100,000 set aside for capital projects here at Steel,
Yep,
so you have the money.
yeah, so we won't have to sweat the expense on it.
The cooling tower.
Cooling tower?
Did you get that? I thought I sent you that. email.
About Big Flats, yeah.
No, the cooling tower here needs work done. Gary assumes it's gonna be about 15 grand.
Oh,
We'll obviously purchase, the county will take care of the labor. But again, it's approximately $15,000. We have the funds.
We put a lot of money into redoing that whole thing, so.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
important to maintain it, because it was not cheap to do.
No, wasn't.
I was back in the back area a few weeks ago looking for Ronnie and stopped to talk to some of the staff in the break room. And they were just talking about how much better they like the break room with the setup and everything. there.
It's so nice.
It took us a long time to do, but at least it seems like we did it right.
Yeah, it's so nice. The gray was a great touch. Great touch.
Okay, anything else? Anything else falling apart or? No, we're good?
I don't think, until next one.
Okay, Personnel Committee. So as you all know, Ron is retiring. So we're gonna be starting a director search soon. I talked with Brian Hildreth and he assured me that, he sort of walked me through the process. So he thought that step one would be to create a search committee. And he did not feel that it needed to include members of the public or members of the staff, although he did recommend that the final 3 candidates get grilled by the staff and any members of like the friends groups that wanted to as part of the final application process, but that we didn't need to include them on the actual search committee. So the question becomes, do we want to establish a whole new search committee, or do we just want to kick it to the existing personnel committee whose job it is to handle the director anyway? Thoughts? Jack,
I say we leave it with the personnel.
okay? Any other thoughts from other people?
Is there enough people to
So the
handle?
personnel committee is Penny, me, Bonnie, Phyllis, and Muriel.
Yeah, and basically,
And
if you
anyone
need to,
who wants to hop on the personnel committee is welcome to do so. Muriel jumped on it last time.
or if you need to add somebody or replace somebody,
Right,
it's not like this is gonna take a month.
yes, it's gonna take several months. All right, so, yes,
I think it would be wise to strongly consider having at least one staff member involved. Just knowing my own experience with search committees in the past, the more people you have, the more parties that are represented, have a voice in the community, but on the committee. Because it's going to affect people who are working at all 5 libraries in the district. If I were working here and this was going on and the library staff didn't have to say, I would kind of wonder about that, wonder what was going on.
I mean, I certainly want to include the director, I certainly want to include staff members in the final process when we're whittling down, but I don't know if they need to be involved because the role of the personnel committee in this will be to create advertisements, make sure the advertisements go out to the appropriate locations, receive all of the resumes, review all of the resumes, whittle it down to multiple candidates, to 8 candidates, interview those 8 candidates, and then select the top 3, and then bring them here to do interviews with the board, the staff, and the stakeholders. So they will be involved, but not all the way at the beginning. Yes.
Don't we have to ask civil service, like?
Yes, we do. We
Tax
have
and
put
all that
up,
stuff?
we have put up the call to civil service,
Okay.
correct? Did you guys do that?
I remember that was a huge deal.
So we, if one of you has or could check with civil service to ask them to create the test and the language that we need for the position. And Ron, if you could get us a job description. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna need that so that we can move forward.
I'm not sure if I can make that request or if Owen will have to make that as the, I've never requested a test. I've worked with them to maintain paperwork.
Just call them up, tell them I'm retired, and ask what the next steps need to be.
Okay.
The test itself is not a test.
Yeah, it said they want specific language and qualifications, like they need to have X amount of experience, and then they'll like look at the experience of the candidates that we pick and go, yeah, that works.
And I have another question, maybe. I volunteered to be on the committee. I remember like bits and pieces of doing this before, so I possibly could help something. Had we reached out to Mary Beth since she headed the committee last time?
I have not yet reached out to Mary Beth, I haven't yet.
She is a former board member and she headed the committee. Conwell, yes.
He runs
Ray Jewelers.
Ray Jeweler 5 Wagons.
Okay.
Owns.
I think I would have her email somewhere, I have to actually see it out. But I hadn't contacted her yet, because I was doing other stuff.
Well, there's a
involved in
lot of
this.
pieces, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? I don't know if we want to officially nominate the personnel committee or if it's implicit because they're the personnel committee and that's like literally their job. Okay, we'll just let the personnel committee handle it, because it's literally their job.
All you, then.
All right. The election and continuity committee, Phyllis is not here to report. As you may know, Kim Salisbury is retiring from the STLS board,
I think she retired already.
and we are looking for someone to replace her. I've asked several people and been shot down. If anyone else could, if people could be on the lookout for other potential candidates, that would be great.
The only thing I have to say is that I don't know what Crystal's status is. Kevin is running again, whoever else is on the list, I didn't bring those notes, is running again. But Crystal was iffy about whether she was going to run again, and Phyllis did not say whether she had, before she left for her surgery, she did not say whether she had any answer from Crystal.
Okay, and Crystal's not here, so we have no answer from Crystal right now anyway. Okay.
That's, as I said, replacing her if we have to. It'd be nice if she told us what she was doing because it is the middle of August. And then Kim Salisbury, and you're right, Phyllis did say that she would cover it if need be.
Right.
But she didn't want it permanent. She won't be back in town until the end of the month.
Okay. If anyone can think of somebody that they'd like to nominate to that board, I wonder if anyone recently retired who would be interested.
Did anybody ask Georgia?
I asked Georgia, and I asked Jim Hare, and both of them said no.
I know Georgia doesn't like to drive at night.
Yes, that was the reason she gave me,
Yes.
and Jim Hare was like, Jim Hare basically said the same thing, so. So maybe if we had like a young, no,
A driver.
yeah, someone who likes driving, or someone, we're looking for someone who likes driving and has a lot of time on their hands. Go forth and find someone. Okay, non-existent advocacy committee. Do we have a reason to enter executive session? All right, do we have any old business? Do we have any new business?
On the agenda, it does say, discussion of establishing an HR retainer.
Right, yes.
I thought that was left from last month.
I think that's left from last time. I guess it really, with Matt, I don't know how much, and it's really just gonna depend on how tricky things are going forward.
So here's my 2 cents worth. And I have a little bit of an HR background, so I have an idea of what Matt's projecting to work with. I think the hard part is if we keep him on as an hourly rate right now, as we're doing right now, it's adding up an hour rate. If we go to the retainer, he could do the work, he could basically work with the transition, help Owen in his new role, kind of deal with the situations, the other issues that are going on at the same time. There's a lot of cleanup work to be done. And I mean, by cleanup, I mean there's just a lot of things that he wants to come in as an HR consultant. This is, we're not up to compliance with the HR posters and the employees need to see these. And that's the kind of thing he wants to do, is to get us as an organization up to meet the state standards. So those are the kind of things he's looking at. So he has a battle plan for like 6 months at this point. Now, with that said, some of these things we could easily do by going to Google and saying, okay, New York State, what are the things that we need to require? So there are things that we could do on our own, but I think there's also a lot of things that we as individuals, I know myself personally, I may know how to fix them, but I may not have the time to fix them with a full-time job. So that's where he comes in because he does have the capabilities. The other question would be, I know we talked at one point that the county, if the county has an HR person, is that something that we can rely on the county to kind of provide us with?
So that's where my issue with the retainer, I don't mind the retainer, I think it would save us a lot of money in the long run. Because right now it's wrapping up there.
And certainly for like the next 3 months at least.
Right, exactly. And it's not like we have to do a retainer for a specific time frame. We can say, could we use this for next, even say for 2 months,
And renew each month.
and renew each month and go from there. So that's just something I think I would clarify with Matt on, as to what, like, his terms are for a retainer.
And then we can vote on it at the executive committee.
How does this retainer work? Is he giving kind of discounted rate?
So it would be a
Is
discounted
there
rate.
still a, like, I will work 20 hours and
No,
I'm asking more, or-
it would become a flat fee. And I think he said 1,500.
Something like that.
It would be $1,500 a month to do whatever needs to be done.
Right,
As
and
opposed to right now, we're paying them $150 an hour.
Right, I totally understand what right now is at.
okay, so I'm gonna check with him that we can cancel at any time, that it's just a month-to-month subscription fee. And then
Which you
we'll,
might not be all for.
Right, right.
The idea that this month might be a lot of work, but then these 2 months I'm not doing very much at all.
yeah, so I'm
I
gonna,
would like 3-month increments or something, I would think. seems
Yeah.
reasonable.
I'll check with him on that and then have him send over any necessary paperwork to vote on it at the executive committee. And go from there.
I was interested in how close the lawyer fees and his fees were to each other. So that it showed that they were both putting in about the same amount of effort, right?
Period of public expression. No public. All right, all in favor of adjourning? Okay, go home.
I just hit end.
Yep,